Budget and Appropriations Committee Chair Ndung'u said that all counties are still struggling to be self-sufficient 10 years after the formation of devolution, but pegged this on failure by counties to measure its potential using the gross domestic product as opposed to looking at primary production of a county.
Most of the own-source revenues of our county governments, from cess to each other, from cess to, not cess the governor, but cess the revenue, is actually money in the primary production. I think our county governments must find a way to also encroach on the other. Because a county government must be able to know, last year how much money did I get on this segment of the GDP? And the contradiction I was talking about is that most of these monies that are collectible by the county governments actually comes from the smallest segment of our GDP. In the national level, there are things that we are doing in terms of baking a broader cake.
Cabinet Secretary for Treasury and Economic Planning, Professor Ndung'u, on his part, faulted counties for failing to come up with ways of clearing pending bills. The CS also took issue with county administration for failing to remit pensions to the employees. Only 3 out of 42 counties have complied.
Some of these have legacy issues, but they arise from liabilities of, that is, because they have legacy issues because they arise from the local authorities that were there before the devolution started. But counties have continued to accumulate pending bills. And we have to resolve this because essentially some of these pending bills that can be verified are actually debts owed to suppliers.
To curb this, the CS said that counties should be onboarded to the revenue management collection system, which will work hand in hand with IFMIS and ensure transparency and accountability of funds collected.
We made a big focus on the 10 north and northeastern counties that have been historically marginalized, $2 billion worth of investments there, including the flagship $750 million Horn of Africa Gateway project, and very importantly, picking up some of the themes we heard, the greater use of data and statistics with small area poverty estimates so the counties can see who they're benefiting.
World Bank, which is one of the biggest contributors of the Kenya's development projects, mentioned that so far 2 billion shillings has been allocated to marginalized areas in Kenya to boost the region from economic shocks.
We are requesting the counties to agree with us that though they have their own other systems, when we do have, because the National Treasury has set up a task force to look into how do we have this integrated county revenue management system. Once, because they are also mandated by law. I think the PFM law section 12E gives powers to the National Treasury to develop and design financial management systems.
Counties, according to the CRA, should work towards curbing corruption through digitization of all systems, accountability, and tapping into new modes of sourcing for revenue. Gertrude Burgay, K24, Nairobi.